From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
Akile Gürsoy, thank you for agreeing to be with us today. I know that you're an accomplished chairman of the Department of Anthropology at the university here in Turkey, that you have written, that you have researched, that you're working on issues of women, and you gave an absolutely wonderful keynote speech at the conference, the Fulbright conference here in Istanbul. And the Library of Congress, who's filming this whole thing, wanted very much to have you to highlight the profile of such an accomplished woman as yourself. I would very much like to know something about your background. How did you become who you are today? And so do give us an idea. Where were you born?
Thank you very much for all your compliments. You put me in a sort of central big light. For myself, I was born in Ankara, at the capital city of Turkey. My parents and their families come from the Balkans and from Central Anatolia. And I was educated initially in Ankara, then coming from a political family, we had a lot of some upheavals in our life course. So I continued my high school education in Istanbul, and later I went to England, to Cheltenham Ladies College to pick up my A-levels there. I went to university in England, to Durham University, to study anthropology. But after I finished, all the rest of my life, I came back to Turkey, and I have been working in my home country, teaching at the university. For a couple of years, I worked in Eastern Turkey in a health project in trying to reduce child's mortality. That was for me, it was a significant part of my life. I am presently trying to build a department in a newly founded university in Istanbul. So this is...
Is it a private university?
It is a foundation university. It is not exactly private, maybe in the sense of being totally private, but in Turkey we have a history and a tradition of foundations, and this is a modern foundation. So it is... in one sense, it is very closely linked to this central state university system, but at the same time, it has an independent, private functioning nature to it.
How did your family influence you? You said you came from a political family, and tell me a little bit about your family. I heard some rumors, but tell me, your grandfather played a very important role in
well, my grandfather was the last prime minister of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. He was with him in his last years. They were very good friends. And later, the way history developed, he was the president of Turkey between 1950 and 1960. So that is my one generation back political background, legacy. Right. And my mother, she was also a member of parliament. Due to political circumstances, later in her life, she had decided that it would be a good idea to enter politics. So she was involved in politics. She was a member of parliament for, I think, almost 10 years. But for myself, I am much committed to academic life, to wanting to work with young people. This comes as a priority in me. I do not have much interest in daily actual politics
as well.
Party politics.
So you had wonderful models, but you created your own niche, your own way of life.
I was lucky
chose
in
your
that.
own way.
Yes. But in my family, I can say that from my childhood onwards, I think this is something that holds for many children, many women for our part of the world. My family was very much interested in my education. My father, my grandfather, and my mother, they had a high expectancy of how we would perform, not just myself, but my sisters. They were very interested in our grades and how we did at school. So I think we got a lot of backing from them morally.
Support is very important.
Support is very important
Absolutely.
For women, I think.
But what got you interested in anthropology? And
yes, people are always asking me this
yes.
because it's not a very usual
no.
Subject area. I think had I never gone out of my own country to study, maybe I would not have realized that there is such a discipline as anthropology. But I think moving away from home at a very young age and entering a boarding school in England, it suddenly made me realize how there can be very different lifestyles, how people can think differently, live their daily courses very differently. So this led me to think about different customs, different societies. And in my final year at Cheltenham Ladies College, we were receiving a lot of advisory sessions from the teachers. And when we talked about these interests, you know, I said I'm really interested how food can be different, beliefs can be different, lifestyles, everything, music. So she started giving me books on anthropology, and the more I read, the more I became interested in how throughout the whole world all these different lifestyles coexist. I ended up studying anthropology.
And you focused on Turkey in your PhD dissertation?
Yes, my PhD dissertation was, see, when I came back to Turkey, of course, then I started a family of my own. I was married, I have a son, and much as I would have liked to, I did not go abroad to do research. I did all my research work here in Turkey, which is a very large country.
Absolutely,
you can
absolutely, and a very rich
yes,
one.
A very rich one.
So and what was your
PhD?
Yes,
my
topic.
PhD dissertation topic was on women workers in a tea packing and brewery factory in Ankara. I looked at their relationship with the syndicates and how their adaptation to city life and how they managed their lives working as workers in this tea packing factory. So my PhD research topic was in a way on the anthropology of labor, on urbanization, on women's issues. But as soon as I completed my PhD topic, before I had time to even develop it further, I had this offer from UNICEF. They asked me if I would be interested in being their communications officer for this program they were starting. And the program had one foot at the Turkish Ministry of Health. This was in the 1980s. The other part was southeastern part of Turkey. So I quit academic life. I thought I would never come back to academia, that I would spend the rest of my life doing development work and working in villages, in small towns around health issues. So I joined them for 2 years, and that was a very enriching experience for me.
Actually, that's wonderful, because I had exactly the same experience. I joined UNICEF as well, and worked with women and children in villages for a while, and then.
But
then you came back after a while. That's it.
Maybe a little frustrated, or maybe a little too idealistic. I felt I was not able to do as much as I felt I should be doing given the circumstances. So I moved myself out from UNICEF and started looking for a job. And there was a period of time I was searching for a job, something to do. And my son was very young at the time, so it was not very easy committing myself to jobs that would require a lot of travel, a lot of other commitments. And eventually I entered a very large state university in Istanbul, Marmara University. I worked there for about 15 years.
In the anthropology department?
They had no anthropology department. I worked, it was again a university that was in formation. Throughout my life, I seem to have entered places where they are in a state of formation.
But that's always exciting because
it's
you can
very
contribute.
Exciting. That's true.
That's right.
You kind of help the structure being formed.
Exactly.
I found myself eventually at the Department of International Relations. So I have also studied a lot of their theories, and I'm familiar with the international relations outlook to life as well. But when I was there in my last years, we were trying to form a social science department with my colleagues, sociologists, anthropologists, psychologists. And as we were trying to achieve this in a state university, the way things developed, I had an offer from Yeditepe University to come and develop the anthropology department, which became a very exciting offer for me, and I changed my life course, and that is what I have been doing.
And you, in a way, established it, isn't it? I mean, the anthropology department, or you expanded it?
I established it, I guess, and I would like to expand it more. We have some very interesting courses being taught. We have I believe, very good students. One of them is presently right now in Mongolia studying shamanism. We have very interesting projects, so I'm very happy to be there, and I hope for some years to come I will stay and continue to develop the department.
Yes. And it is important, you know, to work on the culture and the society. And as you said, you know, those very first ideas that got you excited in anthropology, yes, sort of are the ones that you're following through now with your work in anthropology, isn't it?
Yes, in that sense, I think I'm lucky. I'm doing things that are still relevant to my own significances in my mind. Of course, there's also a lot of administrative work I do,
that's
but I think we all have to
we all have to do some of
to
it.
do some of the things that maybe we would like to diminish time-wise. Yes.
But in your students, you find the same excitement about anthropology, about studying the culture in the students that you have in the anthropology department?
I think I do. I think despite the fact that now there is a kind of generational difference, I think. I see this maybe in my son, in all the young people I meet. They have a different way of relating to issues, to how they will spend their time. They are maybe much more realistic about certain things. But they are, I think, committed, and they are ready to give a lot from themselves. They work hard, so I'm very happy with them.
That's great.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Akile, and thank you for sharing these wonderful experiences with us. And I know that many will follow in your footsteps, and I'm sure you're going to be inspiring, and you are inspiring your students and many beyond that, beyond Turkey and outside who will be watching
you are very
this
kind.
program.
I will look forward to listening to all of the other interviews with.
You have made a major contribution to it, to our program, not only with your presentation yesterday, but also with sharing your personal ideas and hopes and wishes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Akile.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.